At the age of 50 or 60, a supermarket near your home isn't just a place to buy groceries. It's safety, convenience, and daily independence. But right now, more than 17 million Americans are living in areas known as food deserts, places without a decent grocery store within a reasonable walking or driving distance. And that number is growing fast, week by week. You think this only happens in remote rural towns? It doesn't. New York, Los Angeles, Phoenix, all major cities are steadily losing the neighborhood stores that older residents depend on most. The worst part? The government has no plan to stop this wave of closures. Within the next 12-18 months, if you don't check your neighborhood now, you may wake up to find your familiar supermarket gone without warning. Today's video will reveal 12 cities currently facing a local food crisis, each one a wake-up call. If you're thinking about relocating, retiring, or already living in one of these cities, don't skip this. What you're about to hear may make you see your neighborhood in an entirely new light. Chapter 12. Kansas City, Missouri. When the shelves go empty and the neighbors disappear, a normal Monday morning in Kansas City, before Mrs. Ruth, 68 years old, retired after 3 decades as a librarian, used to walk just 5 minutes to buy vegetables, milk, and her heart medicine at the supermarket on the corner. But today, the shutters are locked tight, the Sun Fresh Market sign quietly rotting under the rain. And for her, it's not just a door that closed, but a piece of life erased. Kansas City was once a place of hope for those who wanted to live steadily on a modest budget. Affordable housing, a pleasant Midwestern climate, and kind communities. But now, the city is becoming the starting point of a silent collapse. Grocery stores are withdrawing one by one, leaving behind food desert zones where residents no longer have access to fresh food within a 2-mile radius. Sun Fresh Market once served more than 14,000 customers every week. The city poured nearly $29 million in tax money into it, hoping it would become a symbol of economic fairness. But the dream quickly crumbled. Within just a few years, customer numbers dropped to around 4,000 per week. The store lost nearly $885,000 annually and eventually shut down. For people like Mrs. Ruth, the consequence isn't just traveling farther to buy milk. It's losing the only place where she saw familiar faces, where someone asked, "How are you today?" and where she still felt she belonged to a community. The cruelest part is, even in the heart of America, many older adults are being forced to migrate backward, away from areas that are becoming inconvenient, disconnected, and underserved. In Kansas City, this is no longer a warning. It's happening right now, before our eyes. Yet amid this landscape, there is still a glimmer of hope. Community gardens have begun to sprout on empty lots. Residents are donating to buy community fridges and share food with each other. Kansas City hasn't given up. But to continue living steadily here, older adults need a strategy. They can't rely only on luck or goodwill. If you live in Kansas City, take a look around you. Is your nearest store still open? If one day it disappears, how will you manage? Share your thoughts below. And if you think this topic deserves attention, hit like, subscribe, and turn on the bell. Because there are still 11 more cities on the brink. 11. Jackson, Mississippi, where the bright southern sun once shone over peaceful neighborhoods, now slowly sinks into the shadows of poverty and food despair. In Jackson, a grocery store isn't just a place of trade, it's a symbol of hope, connection, and survival. Yet now, those symbols are collapsing. Supermarket chains like Kroger, Save-A-Lot, and even Walmart have all pulled out one by one. Not because of a lack of customers, but because of a harsh reality. Profit cannot defeat poverty. Imagine this. A single mother, after a 12-hour shift, must take a 45-minute bus ride just to buy milk for her child. An elderly man quietly pushes his cart through 3 empty neighborhoods because the store near his home is now nothing more than an abandoned building. What makes Jackson unique is its silence, an unsettling silence. No loud protests, no banners, only empty shopping carts and shelves covered in dust. Crime rises, hope falls, and somewhere, what's called the American dream is shattering, piece by piece, right on its own soil. But Jackson still holds one weapon, the power of community. From churches organizing food distribution programs to local farmers selling vegetables by the roadside, they are the living supermarkets, quietly filling the void left behind by corporate giants. Jackson isn't just a city losing its grocery stores. It's a warning that if we measure the value of community only by profit, then the very foundation of society will collapse. 10. Chicago, Illinois, the Windy City, once the vibrant heart of the American Midwest, is now becoming the center of a silent storm, a food crisis. When Walmart closed 4 of its branches in 2023, thousands of Chicago residents, especially in the South and West Sides, fell into what's known as a food desert, where people must travel more than 2 to 3 miles just to buy fresh vegetables or milk. Whole Foods, a symbol of organic and modern food, couldn't survive either, overwhelmed by millions in losses and growing insecurity. But the problem isn't just about doors being closed. It's that trust has been locked away too. Residents feel abandoned. When the big names pull out, they leave behind not only empty storefronts, but also a void in both the daily and emotional lives of the community. Chicago is trying to revive itself. Local community groups like Grow Greater Englewood are turning empty lots into urban farms. In the darkness, some are still lighting small sparks of hope. Yet one haunting question remains. When the supermarkets disappear, who will feed the city? And if Chicago, a major economic hub, can't even keep its essential grocery stores, what's waiting for smaller cities? If any of these stories sound familiar, your neighborhood might be changing too. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the earliest warnings. Number 9. Baltimore, Maryland. When the neighborhood market becomes a luxury, Baltimore is not just a historic city along the Chesapeake Bay. It now stands on the edge of a painful reality. Many low-income neighborhoods have lost their main grocery stores, and older residents, especially those aged 50+, are watching nearby conveniences slowly disappear. A recent example, the Food Depot, Bel Air Edison store in the northern part of the city, announced it will close in January 2026, affecting about 80 employees and hundreds of surrounding residents. One local said, "We walk here or take the bus. If the store closes, we'll have to go even farther." Security costs, rent, electricity bills, and bottle fees are now threatening grocery operations in this area. What does this mean for the 50+ group? Instead of just losing a nearby shopping spot, they lose a place to walk, to socialize, to feel safe. If they now have to drive, wait long for buses, or shop at small convenience stores with higher prices and fewer choices, both cost and health take a hit. But Baltimore's story isn't only about crisis, it's also about local revival. Many community organizations are promoting mobile markets, partnering with older residents to bring fresh food into underserved areas. If you're considering retirement property around Baltimore, choose a neighborhood where grocery stores remain strong or where new projects are being developed. Because when amenities vanish, quality of life drops with them. Do you live in or follow an area in Baltimore where your local grocery store has closed or is at risk? Share your experience below. And if you find this video helpful, hit like and subscribe so you don't miss the next part. 8. Cleveland, Ohio. When a grocery store closes, a community can lose its breath. Cleveland was once the industrial heart of the Midwest, but now it faces a new kind of crisis, a shortage of fresh food. When a supermarket chain announced its withdrawal from the Glenville neighborhood, thousands of residents, mostly elderly and low income, fell into a food desert. Without cars or proper delivery services, they became hostages to overpriced, nutritionally poor convenience stores. Worse still, according to a recent survey, nearly 20% of Cleveland's population lives in areas without a grocery store within a 1.6 kilometers 1 mile radius. For young people, that may not be a problem. But for older adults, every extra block is a challenge to their health, their time, and their safety. What's especially heartbreaking about Cleveland is the silence. A store closes, no protests, no heated debates. It simply disappears, leaving empty shelves in the hearts of its residents. And then, like dominoes, other services fade too. Pharmacies pull out, bakeries lose customers, mobile healthcare vans stop coming. Yet Cleveland is also where many sustainable initiatives are taking root. Mobile farmers markets, community garden networks, and nonprofit supermarket coalitions are being tested. Life quietly sprouts amid the dry concrete. Are you living in a city that's changing day by day? Share your story, because every small story might help someone else avoid choosing the wrong place to call home. So 7. Memphis, Tennessee, where the local market becomes a distant journey. Memphis, a city once alive with the sound of blues and the soul of the South, is now facing a quiet but profound crisis. Tens of thousands of residents live without access to fresh food. In areas like South Memphis and Fraser, major supermarkets have gradually disappeared, leaving a void filled by small convenience stores, gas stations, and fast food outlets, none of which can replace the value of a true grocery market. A trip to buy produce that once took 10 minutes has become a journey across multiple bus stops, under scorching heat, or through unsafe darkness. The elderly, children, and those working 2 jobs are all affected, not because they chose to live this way, but because they no longer have a choice. Memphis hasn't just lost shelves of fresh vegetables. It has lost part of its community soul. The place where neighbors met, chatted, and exchanged more than just food. When the local market is no longer local, life itself becomes more distant. Yet amid these struggles, a new movement is rising. Local communities are beginning to create their own solutions, from community gardens to food-sharing programs, as a way to reclaim the right to eat healthily, right where they live. If you've ever taken a grocery trip for granted, think again. For millions in Memphis, it's a daily struggle just to live a normal life. 6. Atlanta, Georgia, when the neighborhood market becomes a luxury in the heart of the city. Atlanta, with its vibrant streets and modern skyline, is facing a harsh reality. Much of the city's south and southwest areas are gradually turning into food deserts. Residents no longer have a major supermarket within walking distance, and buying fresh food has become a distant journey. In low-income and predominantly Black neighborhoods, only about 36% of food stores sell fresh produce, while in other areas that number reaches around 61%. Another way to see it, more than 1/4 of Atlanta's population lives in areas where access to fresh and affordable food is extremely limited. Yes, it's no longer about skipping a long walk to the store. It's about having to drive, cross busy roads, or depend on convenience stores with thinner choices and higher prices. The major difference: Atlanta hasn't just lost stores, it's lost the connection between transportation and food. A supermarket closes due to electricity theft and weak security, leaving an entire neighborhood unable to walk for groceries. Meanwhile, the train and bus networks aren't optimized for older shoppers, meaning those aged 50+ must drive or depend on others. However, there is a ray of hope. The city is launching markets inside MARTA stations and encouraging supermarkets to open in underserved areas, meaning if you choose your neighborhood wisely, you can stay ahead of the curve as amenities improve before your area gets left behind. Ask yourself, does your neighborhood in Atlanta have a supermarket within a 5 to 10-minute walk? If not, do you have a backup plan? Because when you lose near home, you lose more than a place to buy vegetables. You lose safety and a piece of the stability you thought you had. Every week, more cities will fall into a local food crisis. Subscribe and turn on the bell, so you and your loved ones won't be caught off guard by these quiet changes. 5. Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. When the traditional market turns into a food gap in the city center, Philadelphia was once a symbol of American urban life. Charming old streets, bustling outdoor markets, and neighborhood grocery stores that formed an essential part of daily living. But now, nearly 1/3 of the city's residents live in areas where access to fresh food is severely limited. The surprising part, right in the heart of a major city like Philadelphia, not just in suburbs or small towns, older adults and low-income families are facing a new reality. To buy vegetables, fruit, or fresh meat, they must travel farther or settle for fewer options, as traditional supermarkets close down or shift business models. A 55-year-old mother living in North Philadelphia said, "I used to walk 10 minutes to the grocery store. Now I have to take a bus for 2 stops, rely on my kids to drive me, or buy from the nearby convenience store, where prices are higher and the vegetables are always the bad ones." What makes Philadelphia different is not just the lack of stores, but the changing identity of its shopping culture. When the neighborhood market disappears quietly, older residents lose their daily social space and lose the sense of stability that comes with feeling at home. However, Philly refuses to give up. Community fridge programs, mobile markets, and farm alliances are emerging, a reminder that even in shadow, light can still find its way through. But if you're considering where to settle long-term, check first. Is your nearby grocery store still open? Because when you lose near, you lose more than a place. You lose a piece of peaceful living. If these facts make you stop and think, share this video with your loved ones, especially those planning to move, retire, or live far from family. Act early, live steady. 4. Detroit, Michigan. When the industrial heart has to walk farther just to buy vegetables, Detroit was once a symbol of industrial prosperity, factories, cars, and a vibrant urban rhythm. But now, older residents living in Detroit's eastern and southern neighborhoods are realizing that what used to be a 5-minute grocery trip can now take over a mile. The reality, over the past 10 years, Detroit has lost more than 600 food or retail grocery outlets, a staggering number for a city once filled with supermarkets. The surprising part, Detroit doesn't just lack large supermarkets. It's the lack of transportation links and old shopping habits that hit hardest. Many seniors who used to walk to nearby stores now must wait for buses or rely on relatives for rides, while old cars and skyrocketing gas prices make travel even harder. And when the only option left is a small convenience store with higher prices, they don't just lose convenience. They lose safety, independence, and affordability. However, Detroit also holds a small secret. Out of the loss of big supermarkets have grown community gardens and mobile delivery programs bringing fresh food into underserved neighborhoods. This is the city's unique strength. The community stands up for itself. If you're considering where to live or retire in Detroit, evaluate food access and transportation. Because when the neighborhood supermarket disappears, you lose more than you think. Choices, health, and comfort. Do you have a grocery store near your home in Detroit? If not, what will you do to make sure you're not left behind? 3. Los Angeles, California. When Hollywood's lights shine but the neighborhood shelves fade, Los Angeles, the city of film, beaches, and the California dream, is now facing a paradox. An average home price of over $800,000, while many suburban and low-income residential areas lack nearby grocery stores. One elderly resident said she used to walk 10 minutes to the supermarket. Now she drives 20 minutes, crosses busy streets, struggles to park, and pays more than before. The distinctive and surprising thing about Los Angeles is that it's not just about distance. It's about a distribution chain strained by real estate and insurance costs. Large supermarkets are reluctant to expand into the suburbs due to high expenses, while smaller neighborhood stores offer fewer fresh options and higher prices. For older adults, with declining health and aging cars, the disappearance of a nearby store isn't just a loss of convenience. It's a loss of independence, safety, and comfort. Yet amid these challenges, Los Angeles still holds a fair advantage. Community market models and home delivery food services are spreading, meaning if you choose your area wisely, you can stay ahead of the new wave of accessible convenience instead of being left behind. If you're considering moving to or retiring in Los Angeles, check first. Is your nearest grocery store still operating well? Because when you lose your neighborhood store, you lose more than a place to shop. You lose quality of life. 2. New Orleans, Louisiana. When the grocery basket nearby is no longer a given, New Orleans, the city of jazz, beignets, and warm hospitality, is going through a painful paradox. If you live in one of the areas lacking grocery stores, you're not just losing a place to shop, you're losing a piece of daily life. About 15 to 16% of New Orleans residents live in areas with low access to grocery stores, while nearly 49% eat fruit less than once a day, and more than 25% eat vegetables less than once a day. The surprising fact, neighborhoods like Lower 9th Ward, just a few miles from the bustling downtown, have been identified as food deserts, where residents must travel over a mile, sometimes several, to reach a major supermarket. Those aged 50+, older, with aging vehicles and slower steps, are hit the hardest. When nearby stores close or choices shrink, they face higher travel costs, longer bus waits, and shopping conditions that are less convenient and less safe. But this isn't just a story of loss. New Orleans still holds its own strength. Community markets, urban gardens, and nonprofit organizations are emerging to fill the gap. If you're considering living long-term or retiring here, choose a neighborhood where nearby grocery stores are still stable, because when that convenience disappears, you lose more than fresh food. You lose daily independence and safety. Take a look around. Is your local grocery store still open? Do you have an alternative if it closes? 1. St. Louis, Missouri. When the neighborhood supermarket becomes an endangered convenience, St. Louis, the metropolitan area along the Mississippi River, a historic symbol of America, is facing a painful paradox. While many older adults and retirees choose to settle here for its affordable housing, the reality is becoming clearer. The buy food near home zone is shrinking. Within the city, About 18.4% of the population experiences food insecurity, lacking sufficient and healthy food, a rate higher than the national average. Moreover, nearly 18% of the St. Louis metro area is classified as a food desert, where residents must travel half a mile or more to reach a major grocery store. What makes St. Louis unique isn't just the lack of supermarkets. It's the connection between food insecurity and public safety. Research shows that nearly 70% of the city's homicides have occurred in areas without a grocery store within half a mile. For those aged 50 plus or 60 plus, this means you're not only losing shopping options, you're losing security, time, and independence. But St. Louis hasn't given up yet. Urban gardens, mobile groceries on wheels markets, and community initiatives are sparking small lights in the darkness. It's a signal that if you plan to live or retire here, choose an area where stores are still active, transportation is convenient, and community groups are strong. Because when your nearby amenities disappear, you lose more than a place to shop. You lose a piece of a safe and stable life. We've just gone through 12 cities, each one telling a troubling story. But behind the closing doors of these supermarkets, it's not just food disappearing. It's the community safety net breaking apart, piece by piece. Remember, losing a grocery store isn't just about driving farther to buy eggs or milk. It's the loss of a familiar anchor, especially for older adults, low-income families, or those without transportation. And when those anchors vanish, everyday life becomes more unstable than ever. This is no longer someone else's problem. If you see your nearby supermarket posting deep discounts, running out of stock often, or closing earlier than before, that might be the first warning sign. Don't wait until it's too late. Share this video with your loved ones and friends, especially those living in the cities we just mentioned. Because only when we recognize the problem can we prepare and act in time. And if you want to know which neighborhoods are next, which chains are quietly pulling out, don't forget to subscribe. The next video will make you look at where you live differently once again.